Evening all. Thanks for having me. I'm presenting on what I call Buffett tonight. So what Buffett is, it is a social media scheduling management platform. The licensing on it's about $6 per channel per month in the US. I call it $9 Australian. What a channel is on this, just to give it some context, you can see on the left here, I've got the Aegis brand and I've got my personal one. You can also connect it to Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Pick a social platform. That is a channel in the product. You can queue up and schedule all of your posts, all of your messaging to go on there. So as an example, I'll bring up the one which I've got scheduled to go out for tomorrow morning. Okay, can everyone see that? So with this one, yes, it's got AI embedded into it. If you want to use it to help you write posts, that's entirely your choice. But as an example, this is one which I wrote a couple of weeks back now for basically around cybersecurity and funding options. Can insert in the imagery, insert in images, insert in videos, insert in whatever you want to support it. You can add the hashtags based upon pre-configured filters, i.e. all I have to do is do that and look at that. All of those are now saved in there. You can build out hashtag groups and hashtag management to actually support that. As an example of how easy this is to actually use, I've scheduled out my content until about this time next year. You can see that because I have 202 posts scheduled out for the next year against me as my brand, because my branding coach told me don't do it against the business, do it against you. Going to be doing some stuff against the business one, but it's very easy to set up and schedule and manage. So what we're going to do to demonstrate that is I'll set up a post against the Aegis brand. So to do that, all I have to do is click on Aegis. Going to make it go to a week view because it's just easier to work with, and go for, say, click on there. Now, because I've created this new post, if I click that, it's now going to post both to my Aegis account and my personal account. I can untick it and it's now just going to do that. Add whatever you want from whatever images you want, be it PDFs, PowerPoints, anything you want, and upload. If you need to add a link in, it will also, there's another technology called link shortener. So you don't want to get a link that's that long. You want to make it as short and easy as possible. So these are link shorteners, so you're not using a link that's 2 pages long. This will shrink it down. You can add emoticons. You can also integrate it with things like Canva, Dropbox, all the other bits and pieces to upload and integrate imagery into what you're doing. You are also able to, if you want to, add a post that will, the moment you schedule this, it will automatically post to it straight away. So if I hit schedule post now, that will now show up there. I can go back into it and edit it. But what we will do, when you edit it, you can pick whatever date and time you want to use. So let's say I want to pick this Friday at 8 past 1 in the afternoon. It will now do that for me. The other thing, but I actually find that and get rid of it because that would be really embarrassing to turn up on that time. So let's bring out you can drag and drop them around as you want to as well. So we'll open up another one. The other thing you can do if you want to get a little more technical, or you have an approval process around how you need to create and manage these. So as an example, say, for example, you're working with a marketing partner, they can create this content into a draft format, and then you can actually approve it. So the way which that works, let's play with the AI it has here. Put that in there. It will generate that for you. It is average, but we just insert that in, brings it across. It's given me some tags. I can now schedule a draft or request approval. If I save it as a draft, it'll save it into my draft queue. So let's say Kane's my boss. He can then see the draft queue and go, cool, Luke's been a good marketing intern. He can go through and approve the ones that have been done, approve the schedules, and do that. You can also request approval, which again follows the same sort of thing, but it puts it in basically a pending state and you just need to approve to release. But when you save it as a draft, it gets added to the queue. So we will schedule that just to keep it easy. Now, when they talk about a lot of this stuff, this is all scheduling out for as long as you want against your brand, against your personal account, however you want to do that. There's also an entire section in here of how you can actually have the AI generate ideas for you and build it out. This is the approval change you go through if you need it. As you start building more of an audience, the other capability it has is the analysis of your socials. Now, please don't hold it against me. I'm still building this out because my stuff is still quite junior. But it basically shows where I'm getting tracking and engagement across my posts, specifically stuff that is scheduled and managed out of Buffer. My numbers are small because, well, I'm small. Right now, I'm happy if I crack 100 impressions a day. But as an example, you can see that's where the weekend was. And as we're going through, that's this week. Total impressions, total engagement. As people make more comments, as they like, as they share, as you engage in conversation, these numbers will shift and will give you a better idea and picture of what is driving engagement and what isn't driving engagement. Again, you can add it to reports, and there's all sorts of other things you can do with that. I'm still building this out because, well, as I said, I'm new. It'll track a whole heap of things. What else do we have in here that I meant to talk to? They've got the ability to add all the other channels and how you manage that. They're constantly rolling out new integrations. Current requests coming through is for some stuff they already integrate with TikTok, but they're looking for some feature insertions into TikTok. And for whatever reason, that has decided to stall and lock up. We'll go back to here. So looking at the platform, you can schedule out all the materials that you want. I've shown you how to do that. You can edit and modify everything once you've actually queued it up. You can either delete it or edit it, or I can go, hey, let's publish it right now. Skip ahead of that, drag it back to drafts. We bring up the edit. I can do whatever I want to it. It makes you aware of the word count or letter count you have for each post. LinkedIn has, I think it's a 3,000 character posting limit per post. So it'll keep track of that for you. I don't think of much else I can tell you about it. It's a fairly straightforward platform, but I can't speak enough for the benefits it provides in terms of ease of use. I'll show you what I've built out. I went over here, bring it into month view. There we go. So as you can see, at 8 o'clock every morning, it releases a post. That's telling me that for this Thursday, I've got to go and find an image because as you can see, there's no picture preview on there. But going forward, it's how everything is queued up and managed. So this is how you can actually schedule, program, plan out. All of my content here is built around themes. Monday is talking to CEOs. Tuesday is talking to CFOs. Wednesday is talking to risk compliance and legal. Thursday is IT. And Friday is long form blog posts. How you build the content, you can build it yourself, engage a marketing firm, leverage ChatGPT. Just be aware that if you use the AI programs, you need to seriously review it before you include it because it will include errors. It will include all sorts of things. How to use ChatGPT is a skill on its own. I can't think of much else I can tell you about this other than it's easy to use, fairly cheap and fairly straightforward to actually schedule that. The only other comment I'd say is that the LinkedIn algorithm tends to get a little bit persnickety if you do regularly scheduled content. So I've got to go through and modify posting times. So it feels a little more randomized, and I don't like when you're posting from outside of the site, so it can de-rank you. But you can counteract that by driving communications and engagement via the posts. There are some people I engage with, and we basically agree to comment, like, and communicate via the platform to try and drive traction. And that is a good way to help try and counter that. And I'm sure that Kim can probably give some amazing insights as to the pros and cons of all the things that deal with the LinkedIn algorithm, because he is the expert on that. If anyone's got any questions, speak up now, and I'm happy to do what I can to help.
Nice, mate. That was great. Yeah, has anybody got any questions for Lou?
Hello, it's Kiana.
Yep.
I have a comment to make, and that is
Yep.
I've been doing a lot of digging into LinkedIn, and what I've discovered is that the algorithm prefers, or I guess it's looking for people who aren't scheduling posts. So what the algorithm will work in your favor if you're actually using LinkedIn for the half an hour before your post and for the half an hour after. So they look and see, are you actively engaging? Are you going to be responding to people after your post? That would be another recommendation that you do. There's no problem with scheduling it, but so long as you're actually on there yourself before and after.
You're not just treating it as a set and forget, leave it alone.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool. Thanks, Gianna.
Nice.
I'm just wondering if you can click that show all channels button. I'm wondering if Google business profile is on there. Yes, it's very nice. Okay, cool.
I know nothing about the Google business profile. So
I'm looking to learn more about it. And there's $6 per channel, did you say?
yeah, $6 US. Yeah, so that's sort of price point. It's something I don't need to think about. I can set it up over a weekend and just let it run. But I'll probably spend about half an hour to an hour on LinkedIn each day, just doing engagement and communications and trying to find leads.
Nice, mate. Has anybody got
Avon with his hand?
Oh,
Are you there, Lou?
I am, mate.
A really small point, but you know how you schedule for 8 o'clock and using Buffett, which, by the way, I thought your presentation was great. How long have you been doing this? Because you say you're new, but you've obviously got a pretty good handle around it. So that's probably my first question. So how long?
I've had it for about a month. I've had it signed up for about 3 months, but I've been actively using it hard for about 4 or 5 weeks. A couple of weeks back, I basically set up and I scheduled out all the posts for the next year because I wasn't being consistent.
And look, that's truly amazing. Now on the scheduling, does it have to be like 8 o'clock? Because
No.
lots of people, and could I make just a silly suggestion, but if it were me, I would make it not 8 o'clock or 8 or 9 or 10 o'clock, because lots of people do that and we all get the same message, or not same messages, but messages
Yeah.
coming through, and it's kind of comes across like it's a bit contrived, which of course it is. But if it were me, I'd make it 8:09 or some random time.
Yeah, that's something I've been considering doing. But you can change the time to anything you want.
So, because I noticed that at every top of the hour, I get a whole lot of scheduled messages. And the first thing that occurs to me is, oh, this is kind of like a setup, which is fine because it's highly efficient, but I probably don't want to be that obvious about it. So
it feels like you're being marketed to when
yes,
you
yeah,
don't want
yeah,
to feel
yeah,
that way.
yeah. So anyway, look, just a minor
Yeah,
suggestion,
thank you.
but really, really good what you've done. Excellent stuff.
Sorry, I just can add on to that point of what you just said. That's I used to use a different tool in my previous career, and the scheduling, that's what I used to do. I used to schedule it at, say, 8:35, or because that's exactly it, and I used to schedule mine out a month in advance. But yeah, I used to do them at random times. But you also will find too, and Luke, you'll find once you get a bit more established, that analytics will come back showing. It used to show for me, the platforms I was using, it would show when was the best time to schedule for my Facebook one versus my Instagram one versus my other one, because they did actually differ as to when the audience was most receptive or most using as well too. So, in a month down the track, when you've gone even harder, it will literally show you those analytics as to when is the best time to schedule for, LinkedIn versus Instagram. So
Hand raised.
Oh, yes. I was just going to say, it's already been said, is that as you get volume, you'll be able to see, what time of day people are consuming. And then if you can go one step further, is each of your market segments. So like you've got...
Yeah, he's in and out. He's been in and out, excuse me. He'll probably come back in a half a second, sort of. There he is.
Yeah, sorry. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. What I'm saying is that as you go, you'll get analytics to see what time each market segment opens emails. And Buffett's quite polished as a platform, but there's a couple hundred of these similar types of platforms on the market. So depending on how complex you need to go, you might go, like if you run an e-commerce tool, you might use omni-channel social media support. So that when someone raises a support issue...
We lost him again, I think.
Yeah, I think so. Again, he'll probably key back in a second. That's such a great point on the times, 7:35 and 8:09. I was way too naive to even have picked that up. That's such a good point. I'm glad that was raised. And if Avon comes back in, which I think he will here, I think he was also just barracking for the idea that we can be hyper specific with our audience targeting. But like you said, Luke, and like Devine said, you'll get that data.
Yeah,
that's exactly right, Matt. Yeah, and the fact that you got them coming Monday to Friday is great stuff. Like.
Yeah, it's right. I understood that step one was get consistent. Step two is get targeted.
Yeah, that's right. And look, I used Buffer for a while with Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and Facebook and Instagram were very, very different from LinkedIn. Even before I knew much about LinkedIn, I could see that the videos were way, way, way stronger on Instagram, the shorts and Facebook than they were on LinkedIn. They just didn't connect at all on LinkedIn, to be fair. So I would plan for Facebook, Instagram videos and then post organically on LinkedIn, or not organically, but I would post independently on that. So you can use it for that too, I suppose.
I've been told to use slide decks and equivalent.
You should be able to use, I'm not sure if Buffer does this, but you can create a post and then refactor it for each channel. So you create your big long version with maybe that was a blog. And then on the next iteration, you might go, well, we're going to cut that down to 180 characters for Twitter. Then on another platform, we're going to make it, more hipster language and cool. Like TikTok, we're going to bring the language down, things like that. So there are platforms that do that multi-channel publishing. And then, there's about 100 products on the market. I use Zoho Social just because it works with everything else. But if you use a omni-channel support methodology, like people pick you up on Facebook, they leave a comment, then it turns into an SMS, then it turns into email support and or chat on the website. So everyone who's in the marketplace today wants to interact with brands that way because they're doing that at the enterprise level. So people want a single experience across multiple channels. Anyway, That's me.